I finally played Ghost of Tsushima, and I genuinely don't understand how this didn't win 2020's Game of the Year. Now, I've wanted to play Ghost of Tsushima pretty much since its release. I always thought it looked really great, but I was also a little worried that it would be too Assassin's Creed-like, where you just have an overly long story and really repetitive things you have to do. If you know me, you know I'm not a huge Assassin's Creed fan, so my fear was I would spend almost £100 because video games are ridiculously overpriced nowadays on Ghost of Tsushima and not like it. But when the game finally dropped on PC, I kept seeing loads of my mutual content creators praise it and all of my friends praise it, and I just thought, fuck it, I'll get it. So anyway, I booted up my PS5, got the director's cut obviously, and started playing the next day. Immediately, as soon as you boot up the game, you were just thrown into what I honestly think is one of the best openings of any video game. Sadly, I didn't record it. I was shocked by it, and immediately it just made me feel something for all of the characters here. And then the story just continued to get better and better with almost every single new quest. And what I love about the side content in this game is how it all relates back to the main story. It all feels very necessary to Jin, aka the Ghost's journey. All of the side content, it doesn't just feel shoehorned in like it does with a lot of other games in this style. And yes, I will be getting into a little bit spoilery territory here, so you have been warned, but seriously, this is the third, maybe the second best story I've ever experienced in a video game. Everything just hit extremely hard. You really feel the emotion of Jin, aka the Ghost, and everyone around him. Lady Masako, in particular, had an extremely heartbreaking story. Like when she finds her goddamn family hung, I was damn near choking up, and no video game has ever made me cry before. I mean, I didn't cry, but I nearly did. I'm cold-hearted as fuck. I've cried at one film, nearly cried at one TV series, and I've never cried at a video game. But I mean, a couple have made me close. But just this entire scene is just so powerful.
Shigesato Yasanari strung up like animals.
Let's get them down.
Like, you just fully understand Jin's reasoning for turning into the Ghost and abandoning his rule of honour that his uncle, basically his father, taught him. Jin sees so much through these side quests and of course the main quest, seeing so many innocent people hurt, that it just changes him. It makes him bloodthirsty and makes him want revenge and justice for all of the shit that he's seen. You fully understand why, but on the other side of things, you also fully understand why his uncle, Lord Shimura, dislikes what Jin is doing, because he's afraid that Jin will become no better than the Mongols. And again, towards the end of the story, you really just start to think your honour will be the death of you towards your uncle. Like, you understand both sides, but of course, it really makes you understand Jin in particular. I really just cannot praise the story here enough. Like, I'm still constantly thinking about it since I platinumed the game a couple of days ago. It's incredible. It really is. Seriously, one of the best stories I've ever had the pleasure to experience in a game, and I hate myself for not playing it sooner. And look, of course we absolutely need to talk about the combat, because while, yes, okay, this isn't the best story I've ever experienced, although it does come very close, the combat is the best experience I've ever had in a video game. Constantly needing to change your stance, feeling the sheer impact of every single hit of your katana, every single hit that you take, doing standoffs, taking down multiple enemies in a row, throwing your knives and your powder bombs, swinging down onto enemies, and the duels. Oh man, the duels. I cannot praise the combat enough. I really don't know how they're ever going to step it up for the sequel, because it's just perfect here. I really don't know what more they could do, and I don't know what else I can say about it besides 10 out of 10, it's perfection. And look, like with all games, it does fall flat in some areas. The exploration and the reward system is very lacking in my opinion, I can't lie. The reward system in particular is definitely my biggest complaint here. Most of the time you're just getting charms, and by your like 10th one you start to think, okay, can I please just get anything else, because I'm never going to use 99% of these. And sadly, you never do get anything else. Don't get me wrong, some quests do give you like new armor and such, but that's fine. But when you're walking around exploring and you do a quick tail, or you do a fox den, or a bamboo strike, or a lighthouse, whatever, and you just get a small increase to something, or you get just yet another charm, it becomes very eye-rolling. You're like, yeah, I did 100% the game, it was a very enjoyable time, one of the most funnest platinums I've ever had, but I just think going into the sequel they really need to do a better job of rewarding you to do all of this annoying shit. The visuals are absolutely stunning. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I've been posting a crap ton of pictures from Ghost of Tsushima. It's like every 5 minutes you're stopping and noticing how beautiful the game looks. Whether you're just walking around a dark forest and the sun peeks in, or you're riding your horse past a cliff and notice a gorgeous sunset reflecting over the water, whatever, it's just a really, really stunning game. A few things I would like to see in the sequel, both of these actually come from Red Dead Redemption 2. I would like to be able to interact with my horse more. Again, spoiler warning here, you've been warned, your horse does sadly die, and while yes it is really sad, it doesn't have the same impact of your horse dying at the end of Red Dead 2, and I honestly feel like it's because you're interacting with your horse less. Let me brush him, feed him, change his appearance a little, bond with him to make him faster, you know. The second thing is I really want to be able to clean my swords in the sequel, because yes, Jin does wipe or flick the blood off, which is always really cool to see, but he never actually cleans the sword throughout the entire game, so I know that that bitch would be rusty as hell by Act 3. I don't know, I just think it would be cool if we had to clean and sharpen our swords in order to keep them doing a decent amount of damage. Again, much like in Red Dead 2, where you have to clean your weapons every so often in order to keep their damage output high. Oh, and I also really hope that the sequel takes us to the mainland of Japan, and that's literally all I really want from the sequel, besides another fantastic story of course. Oh, and also for Yuna and Jin to finally get together, because the amount of times in this game when these two are talking and I would just be sitting there like,
"Kiss her, you brilliant fool!"
I mean, it just started to irritate me. You had so many opportunities, Jin. How do you not read all of the signs that she was clearly throwing you? But anyway, yes, I finally played Ghost of Tsushima, and I really cannot recommend it enough. I loved it so much, I loved nearly every second of it. I just had to make a video on it. Of course, if you did enjoy the video, I kindly ask that you leave it with a like, and as always, a huge, massive thank you to all of our channel members for their monthly support. But with all of that said and done, we are going to wrap up. So thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope to see you next time. Peace.